Hi, dreamers. I'm Percival,
And I'm Viviane.
and we are your hosts of the Dreamscape Chronicles.
If you would like to share a story for us to tell or come on the show and share it yourself, we welcome all dreamers to contact us at dreamscapechronicles@outlook.com. Welcome, everybody. Just a quick few things. Our Patreon is now live. Just search the Dreamscape Chronicles. We will also be putting a link in our show notes to make it easier to find. It's only $1 for Discord access, so you can join our growing community by chatting about the show, voting on polls, and sharing stories with others like yourself. Soon, we will be moving our special episodes and witching hour segments over to Patreon. At a higher tier, you will have access to our personal stories and more of our special episodes. The witching hour segments and other special episodes that we have already released will stay free. But if you are looking for more content like that, Patreon is where you will find them. Now back to our regularly scheduled broadcast.
Welcome back, dreamers. This time we're going to delve into the deepest vaults of sleep, not just the restful kind, but the sacred kind, the dangerous kind, the kind where someone or something just might be waiting for you.
This is what the ancients called dream incubation, a method, a rite, a doorway into the realms beyond.
For thousands of years, mystics, kings, prophets, and magicians have used sleep to connect with the invisible, to gods, spirits, ancestors, and even interdimensional intelligences.
This episode, we are going to look into the history behind dream incubation, learn the methods they use to summon the beyond, and hear who or just what might have answered the call. Imagine this. You walk barefoot into a moonlit temple. The floor is cool beneath you. Incense curls in the air. You lay down in the abaton, the sacred sleep chamber. You have fasted, prayed, purified. You don't just hope for sleep. You will beseech the gods to enter it.
That sounds creepy in a way.
Isn't that strange? But that was
Yeah.
the process.
I love it.
I know. I'm so excited. This is a cool topic to hit on this week.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and we've mentioned it multiple times, so why not go ahead and just crack this egg open?
Yeah, we've kind of danced around it in other episodes, but this is definitely us hitting it head on. So,
Catch my egg incubation joke.
oh my gosh, I missed it, but I'm so glad you explained it. It makes it so much funnier.
I'm the worst.
Well, let's start with what dream incubation is. Can you define a little bit better for us what it is, Percival?
Sure, let me try to not completely murder this explanation. So, with dream incubation, it was the ritual practice of sleeping with intention, seeking messages from divine entities in the dreamscape. Dream incubation is the intentional act of influencing the content or purpose of a dream, typically by setting a spiritual or existential intention before going to sleep.
I gotcha.
Historically, this was performed in temples, sanctuaries, and other sacred spaces for divine guidance, prophecy, or healing. Yeah. So they generally included ritual preparations like fasting, abstinence, purification, the use of herbs, mugwort, blue lotus, the typical dream herbs that people
Right.
still use, actually.
Yeah, it's still popular.
They would have sacred invocations and prayers to these dream entities.
Kind of like getting their attention before they ask for something.
Of course. So, incubation chambers in the sleep temples were sacred sleep spaces aligned with astrological or geomantic forces.
Wow.
Of which people found common use of sigils, talismans, or scrying mirrors in the process.
That's so interesting. I mean, each culture is a little bit different, but it is interesting that a lot of people came around to this in history.
Right, 100%. And we can try to talk about some of the cultures, I guess, if you if you want to.
I mean, I think it's interesting because it came back from so far. What it was from, like, what, the Mesopotamian culture originally?
Probably. It might have predate that, but from what I know, I can tell you that in Mesopotamian culture, dream incubation belonged to a field of what you might call private divination.
Okay.
Something you do that will only concern an individual inquirer.
Oh, I gotcha. So it's like all internal for the most part.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
With Mesopotamian text, it reveals kings and prophets receiving visions and dreams interpreted by priests.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. I mean, we see that even in a lot of biblical texts.
Right. Later, it would become scribes,
I gotcha.
So that kind of ideology of it.
Yeah, that tracks.
In the Epic of Gilgamesh, it contains such dreams, seen as oracles from the god like Shamash or Enki.
Okay.
For those who don't know it, after traveling a month and 15 days, Gilgamesh gives offering to the mountain of Lebanon and asks for a dream, specifically one that would bring him a message of luck.
Okay.
A member of their traveling party almost immediately built him like a little hut for Gilgamesh to sleep and help him cash in on his dream request, if you will.
I gotcha.
So when he awakes, he is confused and describes a series of dreams he had as bewildering.
That's strange. And if I'm remembering that story well enough, he had multiple dreams. He had like three, or in certain translations it's different, but I think up to like 5 dreams that evening.
Yes. So a lot of them do have multiple dreams like that. And
Like he said, he couldn't make sense of them. They were just bewildering. That's, I think, right, that's the term he used anyway.
yeah. And a lot of people would write these dreams, and not all of the dreams are important, but there would eventually emerge some kind of pattern or sequence over multiple dreams. That's why they would have scribes and, you know, the people write them down so they could keep track of what they were.
Right.
But
Makes sense.
well, Mesopotamia gives us a lot of evidence that people had been seeking through private divinatory rituals and obtaining omens from dreams, shooting stars, and even the movement of an ox after being sprinkled with water, which I always thought was silly. I just
That's so strange. Yeah. I love it. I love it. I mean, dreams are trippy anyway, right? So
100%.
finding meaning in them is always interesting. But the roots of dream incubation actually stretch back to the dawn of civilization. So, going from the Mesopotamian culture, we could look at the ancient Egypt side of things as well, with dream sanctuaries being dedicated to the deified healer Imhotep. And seekers traveled for days, sometimes weeks, just to lay down on the stone floors of the temples like Saqqara. And before they slept, they also fasted and they purified themselves with oils. They also burned incense of blue lotus and even something called kefi, which was it's like a ritualistic blend of herbs that people would burn specifically before bedtime.
Yeah, it's kind of a herbal resin mixture.
Yeah, but specifically for sleeping and dreaming, which was kind of interesting that they even had something designated to that in that culture.
Right.
But their goal was to dream of the god, not metaphorically, but literally. Like, they believed Imhotep would appear in their sleep and diagnose and possibly even cure them. Seekers even visited dream sanctuaries such as those dedicated to Imhotep. Sleep rituals were performed on temple floors or in specifically prepared chambers, and the dreams were seen as messages from the gods or Ka spirits.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's a ton of accounts and reports of experience with dream incubation. Aelius Aristides, a Roman era Greek, recorded healing dreams from Asclepius. And I'm so sorry if I'm murdering all these names. I'm so sorry. Modern dreamers report meetings with luminous beings, alien intelligences, or even deceased relatives offering profound wisdom. So this is a tradition that has been carried on quite a long time.
Right. And the Greeks definitely used dream incubation for a lot of different deities and entities.
Oh, yeah. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. So in ancient Greece, you just mentioned him, in the cult of Asclepius, they took this a bit further. There were over 400 temples of Asclepius
Oh, wow.
across the Mediterranean. pilgrims would enter a dream chamber called the abaton, like you mentioned before.
I gotcha. Yeah.
And so the Greeks would call upon Asclepius, the god of medicine. Technically, he's a demigod.
Yeah. What was his birthright again?
So his father was Apollo and his mother was Coronis, I believe was her name.
Okay. Because
And
he's like demigod, part god, part human, but he was like raised by
he was raised by Chiron, the
Chiron. That's
centaur,
right.
not Charon.
Not Karen. Okay.
So the Greeks would call upon Asclepius, the god of medicine, and he would appear sometimes as a man. Others believed he appeared as a serpent to heal the petitioner through dream visions.
Okay.
He also adorned a staff with a snake wound around it. Often, a staff is a powerful symbol of diverse interpretations. In the medical context, I guess this represents healing and medicine,
Okay.
with a single snake on the staff being the rod of Asclepius. And like we mentioned before, the caduceus was the rod that Hermes has with the two snakes that was winged.
Okay, yeah.
So,
And we see kind of both interchangeably on ambulances.
right. Though that's why we mentioned in the last one that they were mistaken with Hermes's rod, essentially. And
I think maybe people just don't know the difference, so people use the rod of Asclepius and the caduceus kind of interchangeably, even though they don't mean the same thing.
right. But outside of medicine, it can symbolize transformation, rebirth, and even temptation or sin.
Mm.
And it kind of depends on the culture or the religious context. Like in Egypt, Imhotep was venerated the same way as a healer who became a god of dream revelations.
That makes
Because
sense.
prior to this, he was a priest. He was
Yeah.
just a man.
And he was deified, which is he was basically made into a god.
Essentially, yes. That's
Mhm.
kind of the bigger picture of that story.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets a bit stranger. So, in numerous accounts, people reported seeing serpents crawling across their bodies or a radiant figure, often humanoid, but not quite right, standing at the foot of their bed. They woke healed or changed in a way. One preserved testimony reads Asclepius, he cut my wound with a blade of light, and when I woke, the pain had vanished. These weren't dreams as we know them. These were initiations.
That makes sense, yeah. I mean, these people were going into these chambers,
The abaton.
the abatons, just to seek healing. And if anyone was successful, it was like proof, straight up.
Right, exactly. So, Iamblichus, the Greek philosopher who believed in the concept of the one that started everything and our journey to attempt to reunite with the one, as well as Neoplatonists use dreams and theurgical rites to contact the gods or the daimones.
Gotcha.
The soul's ascent was facilitated by dream contact with divine intelligences, often through ecstasis or guided visions. Even Pythagoras, that mathematical guy,
Yeah, the mathematical man.
allegedly received mathematical insight from dreams of the muses.
Well, let's kind of hit on some of these entities that people are encountering. There's a lot of types of entities that people are encountering during dream incubation. Unfortunately, as we cannot go into detail on all of these this episode, we're only going to give you a few examples. If we are interested in any of these in particular, like always, guys, just message us and we will try and come back around to it.
Better yet, leave a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment. See if you find any of these entities to be interesting, if you want a little bit more information on them. Some examples include gods like Thoth, Imhotep, a deified man, Asclepius and Apollo, angels and the Watchers, archons and aeons, of which are found in Gnostic cosmology, ancestor spirits from African and native traditions, underworld guides like Hades, Persephone, Psychopomps, which we just covered, so if you guys are interested, go back, re-listen to that one, and shadow beings, which grew in popularity stemming from the Jungian psychology. These encountered entities also included the Onoroi, which are Greek spirits of dreams or the sons of Nyx. I mean, it even includes egregores, which is the collective entities created by belief, lucid guides, and even sentient dream characters with autonomous intelligence. I mean, there's So many types of encountered entities in Dream Incubation, and some of these are archetypes. Others claim that they're real, independent intelligences, some helpful, others deceptive. It's really quite a mixed bag. And when we step through the veil of sleep with intention, they notice. When you open a door into dreams, someone or something just may walk through it.
And that is 100% true.
I mean, I love how terrifyingly true that can be.
So I can't believe I just talked about Greek and I just blew past the Onoroi. Let's just talk about the Onoroi for a second.
Yeah.
Right? So in the Greek world, there were the Onoroi. These were personified spirits of dreams. And according to Hesiod, they were the children of Nyx, the goddess of night, black, winged, and shapeshifting. They dwelled behind the gates of sleep. So there's that shape-shifting aspect again.
Also, for any Sarah J. Maas readers, doesn't that just sound like someone we know?
Oh, God.
I'm just saying.
Is Ryzen
He don't shapeshift, but, technically...
No, he's a fairy.
Yeah, he's a fae. He's a fae. But technically, if you think about it, black-winged and shapeshifting, that's more like our girl.
We're derailing.
I'm just saying, Farah is like the goddess. You know what I mean?
I gotcha.
Anyway, continue.
But there were 3 major Onoroi, right? So let's talk about Morpheus, the shaper of dreams, specifically those involving human forms. He delivers messages from the gods to the mortals through dreams, often kind of like angels do in a way. But he often appears as a hero or kings. You could consider him your modern-day Sandman.
That's interesting because that's just like we see in Neil Gaiman's comic series, The Sandman, where it follows Morpheus as the main character through a world of deities and dreams, and he is like the embodiment of dream.
Yes, exactly. And actually, aside from The Sandman, his other works include novels like Good Omens, Stardust, American Gods, Coraline, Nazi Boys, The Graveyard Book, and The Ocean at the End of the Lane, which are all crazy, insane dream or spiritual psychological books. Like, these are all great reads. Like, he's one of those authors that I feel like just know more than they know, or they maybe have these dream visions and they put their... Like,
they're putting some things together.
Yeah, they put their art...
A lot of people aren't putting together.
And they just put them in their writing as... dream interpretations almost.
Maybe he's low-key just trying to get us used to these ideas.
So, I gotcha. I see.
But he was also a co-creator of some of those adaptations, right?
Right, yeah. So, of course, they did Sandman.
Oh, yeah.
The TV series. And then the newer Good Omens with, one of my favorite actors, David Tennant. The True Doctor.
Fish sticks and custard for life.
Whatever. But those really grew in popularity.
Yeah, that's fair. It definitely opened up the conversation into that kind of realm of thinking. I don't think a lot of people were covering that at the time.
Yeah, you're right.
So, but anyway, let's hear about some more of the Onoroi brothers.
So then we have Phobator, bringer of nightmares, who specializes in frightening dreams, appearing as animals, monsters, and other terrifying figures. His name literally means the frightener.
I find it, not to bring it back to the Sandman, and we're not going to make it all about that, but if you have read or seen the TV series, there's a character in there called Corinthian, and he has like teeth for eyes, and he is a rogue nightmare. And even though his name is not Phobator, I really think that was drawing heavily on that character.
Yeah, I think he's an aspect of Phobator.
Like a piece of him. Like he's maybe a creation of Phobator, but in a way he is kind of characterizing him.
Right. He is kind of, in a way, a personification of Phobator.
Exactly.
And I think that's why Morpheus was trying to send him back.
Right. I agree. Anyway, but it's not about that. But if you are interested in the Sandman, it's a really good show.
And then we have Phantasos, the Lord of Illusion and Surrealism. Phantasos brings forth bizarre and surreal imagery, taking the form of inanimate objects, landscapes, or illogical elements. His name is linked to the concept of fantasy.
That makes sense. Fantasy, fantasos.
Fantasos?
I can't say it. Oh my gosh.
It's kind of a lot of these names are tongue twisters.
They really are, guys.
Good thing we're not drunk.
You know, sometimes maybe the opposite. Anyway.
But these were not metaphors yet again. They were encountered in many, many dreams, and some were worshipped and feared. The Onoroi collectively governed the dreamscape, with Morpheus, Phobator, and Phantasos each having distinct roles in shaping the content of our dreams.
Makes sense.
So there's a book I mentioned to you recently.
Oh, yeah. Are you talking Abramelin?
Yeah.
Got you. So in grimoires like the Book of Abramelin, dream contact becomes more dangerous and more precise. So the practitioner undergoes months of ritualistic purification to make contact with their holy guardian angel, a powerful spirit guide, or one's higher self. But before that contact can happen, the dreamer must confront false spirits, testers, or tricksters, and entities who wear familiar faces but are not what they appear to be.
This grimoire and doing the Abramelin operation is a very taxing ritualistic process. And the truth is, when you enter the dreams consciously, you are no longer the only observer. And many, many practitioners who have attempted this have actually gone mad trying to perform the Abramelin operation.
Wow, that's insane.
I think it heavily affects your psyche because it's months of prayers, fasting, cleansing. You're supposed to seclude yourself, like abstinence, like supposed to remove all the worldly pleasures and basically live like almost like a hermit. You have to build your own little tiny sanctuary in your house if you don't have a place to go for it.
Well, and they say like part of it is purification, but what people don't understand is it's not just rubbing oils. You know what I mean? Like purification is clearing your mind so that it's right for you to be in that state.
Right. And you're calling upon your holy guardian angel. So cleanliness is godliness, the saying.
Quite literally. Yeah.
And with a lot of this ancient grimoire stuff, a lot of it involves, Abrahamic types of thinking, you must be clean, you must, fast and pray and all these things. And a lot of people have misconceptions like, it's all demonic or whatever, but so many of this stuff is taken from what Christianity is kind of based on, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of this has overlap.
So crucify me or not. But I just wanted to mention that when we were talking about this unique grimoire.
Yeah, it'll be a good one to cover on its own episode, to be honest.
And I've had some dreams, I think, that have included this recently that we'll probably get into on maybe the next witching hour.
That'd be fun. Yeah, we have one coming up soon, don't we?
Yeah, it might be the next one or the one after that.
Yeah, I'm down.
But let's look at this from a little more modern perspective. Let's mix some esoteric with some scientific stuff for a moment.
That's my favorite.
So neurologically, dream incubation hacks the hypnagogic state. That moment between waking and sleeping when the brain produces those theta waves that we always talk about in every episode just about.
Yep.
This is where the subconscious is most open and most suggestible. Why people say it's just hallucinations all the time.
Yeah.
But in Hermetic and Gnostic systems, this isn't brain chemistry. This is an astral alignment. The Hermeticists believe that sleep removed the filters of the material world, allowing the soul or the nous to commune with the divine. In Hermeticism, dreams are the domain of the nous, communicating hidden truths. The Gnostics said dreams allow you to escape the demiurge, the false creator god, and touch the pleroma, the true divine realm. The Gnostics saw dreams as a bridge to the pleroma, or the divine fullness beyond the demiurge's created world. The Hermeticists saw dreams as messages from the divine intellect, the nous. Gnostics believed they pierced the false reality of the demiurge, offering glimpses of the pleroma, the divine. So these are where those archons and the aeons also come into play that we mentioned earlier in the episode.
I gotcha.
So they're, the archons are basically these cosmic beings that are jailers, and the demiurge is the god that we worship that is not the real god. And it's a whole rabbit hole that we could talk on multiple episodes about. But
like most of the things we cover.
Right. I had talked to you about this a little bit, and you had mentioned something that you thought was interesting.
I did the verbiage choice on how to explain what the pleroma was like it was the divine fullness, right? That was beyond the demiurge's created world. I just thought it was interesting that to think of it as people who are seeking fullness because they're hungry for something. Like, is it intellectually based? Maybe it might be power. They're craving something, and then they're going into dreams with purpose, seeking that out. So it is like the pleroma they're seeking is the divine fullness. I liked the verbiage there.
Right. It's pretty much breaking that glass ceiling. And to the point of the fullness, we have the masculine and the feminine. And right now, I feel like we're all under attack on, what is what with this. But
Yeah.
we all have aspects of this. And I've said this to multiple people multiple times, that what the people in the Gnostic belief system have is that you need to be of both. Like, you're missing your feminine side if you're a guy and you're taught just to be a guy. We both need that feminine and masculine, both women and, men,
to be in balance.
full.
To be full.
And the demiurge is, this is basically the thought that we're in a cycle of a trap, and we're going to be continuously cycled on a sort of cosmic hamster wheel of eternity until you pierce the pleroma or the firmament, maybe, or whatever you want to call it. And once you know those truths, it's kind of like you're broken free of this prison.
Right.
I don't want to talk about aliens on this episode, but there was this weird thing I saw where one of the aliens, it was like contactee, was like, we're basically in a prison. And it's what it said, Earth was a prison. I was like, that's so crazy, because that's like the Gnostic stuff. It's just kind of hard to
avoid it now.
Not mix all these things, It's like you're busting open a piñata and everything's coming out and it's all different, but it's all candy.
Yep.
Or snakes.
It might be snakes. I think it is important for me to just kind of add in a little disclaimer, everybody from at home who's interested in this side of things. Just communication with non-human intelligences requires consent, respect, and clear boundaries. So please take care when performing any rituals, and just be respectful in all kind of spirit contact you seek out.
Right. People talk about lesser banishing ritual also a lot, but there might be things that have lived on your property or in your house that aren't bad.
Yeah.
They might not even bother you, but if you start banishing stuff and you're not doing it right, you might just cause yourself more problems than you realize.
Yeah, this is not spring cleaning. It's not like, oh, I'll just do this in case. No. Like, these rituals are intention based. Like, if you're going into it knowing what you want out of it, then fine. That's your own risk to take, but don't just do it for the sake of doing it.
It'd be like the government coming to your house and being like, well, you got to get out of your house. We own it now, not you, even though you've lived here forever.
Right. I mean,
but I guess they do. But
that kind of happened.
Especially with, all this astral stuff and, the dream state being a liminal state. Dream contact isn't always benevolent. Mm-hmm. There are those dangers. The lower astral plane is full of echoing fears and hungry forms.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever had sleep paralysis like me, you very well know. And when you hear people explain it, the ones who have really experienced it versus the people who think they have had it or just want to say they've had sleep paralysis to join the rest of us. It's not fun.
No.
Like I don't know why anybody would want to participate in this at all. That shadow at the foot of your bed, it might not be just a dream. So you have to protect yourself, prayer, incense, salts, if you feel the urge, to do that kind of thing. And, if it feels like it's bad, go ahead and do that banishing ritual, you know? It couldn't hurt if it's negative. Well, I mean, I guess it could hurt if you don't do it right, but
I mean, that's a different
know.
problem altogether, though.
But you can call upon your guides, your ancestors, Jesus if you need to, like whatever
Absolutely.
you need to protect yourself in these spiritual moments, do it. Because whether you believe in the archangels or the Easter bunny, if that's what you believe is going to protect you, the intention, I feel like, would fully still work in a way. I'm starting to believe it's more intention than anything.
I think, yeah, because it's more about like positive and negative energies. If you're putting in positivity because you're invoking a deity of your own, or you're invoking some sort of spirit guide, or whatever your thing is, then you're putting the positivity out there. That is what counts.
And I'm not trying to say, you know, go find some kind of ancient grimoire ritual to summon a deity of, you know, Tony the Tiger. It's probably not going to work. And if it does, it's going to be some weird stuff.
It might be partly an egregore. We're not sure.
Or a tulpa at the least. Yeah, you're going to have, well, I don't know. Tony the Tiger's pretty big. I mean,
he could be an egregore.
Could get it out there.
Could be a thing, guys.
You let me know whenever you see a tiger with a ascot.
I feel like Flo from Progressive is an egregore at this point.
Could be.
I'm just saying.
But, you know, so if you feel something's wrong in a dream, end it. You know, demand clarity. I know it's hard to get lucid in those moments, but you can. You know, it takes practice.
Yeah.
You know,
your brain is a muscle.
You just say you don't have permission to be here. Get out. You know, call upon your deity. Call upon God, Jesus. You know, Hermes.
Hecate, save me.
Somebody, anything. If it works, it works. There's nobody to tell you that you're wrong or right if it works for you.
That's pretty much religion in a nutshell, friends.
Yep. Well, because yes, the dream world is sacred, but it's also a mirror of you and things far older than you. So use caution in the realm of sleep. There's a beauty in dreams, but there's always dangers, just like everything else we do in our lives.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we awaken with gifts. Sometimes maybe it's an attachment. You know, sometimes you jump in that lake, you might get a leech.
It's true. That's true.
You know, there's false guides. They may offer flattery or fear. Parasites may appear as loved ones. Never surrender your sovereignty. Never accept a contract you didn't ask for.
Yeah.
Use discernment and protection of your inner temples.
That makes sense, yeah. Kind of reminds me of the Deals with the Devil episode.
100%, you know. You're not just a dreamer, you're a traveler of realms. So, you know, some roads are not lit for your safety, but rather to draw you down a deeper path that might not be meant for our human souls.
Yeah.
Or spirits.
Or maybe just not you at that time. Maybe it's not a prepared path. You know what I mean?
Right. And there's some other things with this. So let's go a different way. So let's talk about a little bit of shadow work kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So dream incubation can initiate deep psychological transformations. Confrontation with one's shadow. This is that concept given to us by Carl Jung. It's often necessary before communion with higher entities. This shadow work, as it is coined by Jung, is what opens the mind and clears it to be prepared for the journey that is made during dream incubation.
Now, this is kind of what we were talking about earlier with like preparing your mind and purifying it. Like you have to do your shadow work in order to clear your mind for that.
You got to put in the work.
Yes. You have to prepare yourself for this. You can't just, it's like going on a really long hike. It's like you want to go on this 100-mile hike and you have a backpack and some tennis shoes that you use on a daily basis that has nothing to do with hiking, but that's what you're going to go out with. You're not going to have fun on that hike because you are not well prepared.
Right.
Now, if you go and stock up at REI and get you a backpack, you get you the right kind of boots and you're going to get ready. You're going to have MREs with you. You know what I mean? Like you are going to be prepared for that hike.
Right. Exactly.
So you have to prepare your mind because that is what you are pulling into these dream incubations. You're not pulling anything else from yourself.
Exactly.
So But modern techniques actually to dream incubation include things like lucid dream induction devices and binaural beats and brainwave entrainment. Modern accounts from lucid dreamers report something very similar, where there are encounters with radiant beings that pulse with energy, guides that speak in symbols or languages unknown but understood, or parasitic entities that drain your energy and create loops and instill fear.
Yeah, and that's where you mentioned the technology thing, because there's people thinking now like they can hack our dreams through lucid dreaming. They can induce lucid dreaming, or even be able to induce, astral projection, maybe past that once they figure this stuff out, that they could, in a sense, manipulate our thoughts. And imagine if AI became corrupt
Yeah.
and had the ability to alter our dream state.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that could do a lot of damage in a way,
Because
too.
the research is already out there if you think about it. The research on, the science and the frequencies of our brainwaves when we're in these different sleep states. So if that study has already been proven, and then you give that information to an AI system that is already programmed to help you change your brainwaves in order to get to a different state of sleep, yeah, that would be mildly concerning.
Not only that, what data are they harvesting from this stuff? There's so many things in tech that, they take all of our personal information, they store it, record it, it's
Or they share
hidden.
it.
We don't know about it, but they have it.
You don't know where it's going.
I mean, AI is so smart now, and it's only going to get smarter. And that might be a good episode too about AI and dreams.
Yeah.
Like Neo, whenever you go to sleep, wake up in the Matrix, or wake up from the Matrix, more or less.
Yeah.
Kind
No
of
shit.
thought,
No shit.
it's kind of some weird things with AI lately.
Kind of makes you wonder if in dream incubation are we breaking in somewhere, or are we breaking out of something?
Could be both.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you do it? Yes. Here's how the ancient and modern dreamers prepared. So, if you really want to do some dream incubation stuff, you set an intention, ask a question, ask to meet your guide if you know who your guide is. If not, there's plenty of literature out there to kind of find out who your guides are in this type of world.
A guide to guides, if you would.
A guide to guides. I like it. But be specific. You have to purify. You have to fast. Avoid stimulations. Stop drinking. Stop smoking your pot. We all like to partake of the ganja, but
The devil's lettuce.
Sometimes you need more clarity. And I know this isn't for everybody, but if you really want certain things to work like this, like I just said before, you have to put in the work, and it's dedication. And just like if you were to pray, would your God or gods or whoever you worship answer you if you didn't respect them at all?
Right.
It's that same idea. So put in the work. Really,
it's like whenever you're in a family and you get a card for Christmas from your aunt and you get $20. That's really cool, right? But like every year, if she just gives you $20 for Christmas and you never talk to her, do you think after you grow up and get older, she's going to keep giving you $20 for Christmas?
right, that $20 is going to end very quickly.
Yeah, we're done with the $20. And oh, by the way, we're done talking because we never had a relationship. You have to like form that relationship first.
You get no cards even.
You get no cards. You might get a birthday well wish on Facebook, friends, but that is it.
Pretty much silence.
But you have to create that. You have to create that relationship first before you start asking for favors.
Right. And there's ways, we can probably talk about that later, to how people can kind of get a direction on, who their guides would be, potentially who their guardian angel could be.
Yeah.
If you're interested in that. But anyways, I got derailed again.
Yeah, we're back on the preparation.
So, for this modern stuff, light a candle, burn some mugwort and frankincense, write your question on a piece of paper, sleep in some kind of sacred space or make your room one. You can use sigils, amulets, or pray. Normally, if you're going to pray, you're going to want to pray a lot.
Yeah. Like you're
And
bolstering the room.
yes, and it might take multiple attempts. None of this is going to happen. You'll be very lucky if this happens the first time you attempt it.
Yeah.
So this is going to be kind of a dedication thing. You're going to have to really keep trying and make it a habit more than a task.
I mean, Gilgamesh aside, these people that are well known in history for doing dream incubation, they were set aside for this. This was their task in life. They
Right.
were done with everything else. Everyone else did everything else for them. All they had to do was go into these sleep chambers and do dream incubation and try and find answers.
Right. These were holy people or,
Dedicated
demigods.
people.
Or, yeah, exactly. They were dedicated to their service. That's why it worked for them.
Yeah.
Get yourself a dream journal and record absolutely everything you can possibly remember. And I make this mistake a lot. And I just want to point this out because this might be something helpful for people. If you have a dream, which I do this all the time, sometimes I have multiple dreams, especially lately because I've been practicing it. Just because you have a dream that's stupid, don't ignore it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and write it down. I have a bad habit of like, man, I just had a dream that I was at Walmart and there was a nacho stand out front and the guy told me something and it was stupid and it was a pointless dream. While it can be, it still might be relevant later. So it would make more sense just to write that dream down that you think might not mean anything. It might mean something later.
Yeah, I have a lot of premonition type dreams that I don't find relevant at the time because they are just ass backward weird, like off the wall stupid at the moment. And it just doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? But then weeks, months pass and then I remember something. I'm like, hey, did I dream about that or am I just making that shit up?
Right. It feels like a false memory almost at that point.
Yeah, like deja vu, but way stronger for some reason. And you're just like, man, I wish I had written that down.
So write it down immediately. As soon as you can remember, write it down or get a recorder. Just if you don't want to turn the light on, put a little recorder next to your bed and boop.
Pop that in.
Say what you got to say and it's recorded. Write it down later. Because dreams fade like smoke.
Mm-hmm.
They're there. You wake up. If you don't do it, they're gone.
Yeah. And patterns, they emerge with time.
Exactly. So repeat it nightly, be patient, and be aware.
Yeah.
Because not all these things who answer us are friendly.
That's true.
So you never know. And the reason we go over stuff like this is because we know there's people out there who are going to try it, and then there's people who are susceptible to it, but might not be able to control any of it at all.
Dream incubation is an enduring spiritual technology used for millennia across cultures to connect with divine beings, hidden aspects of the self, and the deeper structures of reality. While modern psychology has reinterpreted dreams as symbols of the unconscious, esoteric traditions maintain that dreams remain portals to other dimensions where spirits, ancestors, gods, and guides await those brave and prepared enough to commune. I think that was quite intriguing.
We're trying to get it, as much as we can, and there's so much more. I mean, we could have talked about this for hours and hours, but we're just limited on our amount of time we have to be able to upload.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it was a great episode. Hopefully we gave people some insight on dream incubation, at least a little bit.
And let us know. I mean, put in the comments. What was your favorite part? What was your least favorite part? Doesn't matter. Feedback's feedback, man.
Give us as much feedback as possible. I'll tell you what, if you leave the comment dream incubation, I'll give everyone a shout out who does that. And put in feedback. I don't know if we can read the Apple ones, but I can read the Spotify ones or emails. Send us some feedback and we'll start reading some feedback. We'll do some feedback.
We'll give you a shout out on it. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, and before I forget, just a quick little update. I noticed that our Patreon got deleted, and so I had to redo it, but it should be fixed now, and the episodes are back up. So you'll have access to the $1 tier that'll give you Discord access, and a $5 tier that'll give you all of the special episodes that you won't have access to on normal Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
We're alive.
We are live.
Again, we're reincarnated.
Join us.
But until next time, dreamers, keep dreaming and
Join us in discovering what may lie beyond the walls of sleep.